Hey guys, Kai von Schroff here. I was on CNN this weekend to talk all about Gavin Newsom's redistricting efforts and why I think he's done this so effectively. Watch the interview and let me know what you think in the comments.
And with us now is Kai von Schroff. He is a Democratic strategist and a senior advisor for the Institute for Education. He also worked on Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us and for being on the show. Really appreciate your insight on all of this. I want to start with Newsom's fighting fire with fire approach on social media. That's just certainly caught so much attention, from dinosaur memes. I think we might have some graphics of these, to writing in caps lock, trolling Trump and really his own style, to pushing a Trump-like nickname for the president, Taco, or Trump always chickens out. My question to you is, are these sorts of tactics working? Is there excitement for a candidate to do this sort of MAGA-like clapbacks, especially for the younger generation?
You know, I think it is working in one sense, in that it is incredibly cathartic to Democratic voters that have been looking for somebody to fight back against Donald Trump, who seems like a bully that has yet to be held accountable. So it's effective in that sense. And I think it also exposes some of the absurdity of Donald Trump's approach when you see somebody like Newsom, putting out those all caps tweets. At the same time, I would caution Democrats that catharsis is not a plan to win back the White House. And so it has to be coupled with policy proposals and strategy. And I do think Newsom has also shown he's been strategic, particularly in this redistricting battle. I'm an attorney by training, and I think what California has done here aligns very closely with the concept of self-defense in this country, which, of course, is that you don't get to go around beating people up. But if somebody starts punching on you, you get to fight back. And there's three elements, I'd say, that are present in Newsom's response that justify a self-defense response. And that's, proportionality. You have to respond proportionally. And that's what they're doing here, right? Texas stole 5 seats. He's taking 5 back. There has to be an imminent threat, right? Trump and Republicans are trying to rig the 2026 outcomes. And lastly, you have to retreat when the threat subsides. And so this measure expires in 2030, when hopefully the country has moved on from these unprecedented MAGA attacks.
Former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger has for decades railed against rigged maps, and it was under his governorship that voters first banned gerrymandering and adopted this independent redistricting commission that has really been seen as a gold standard, right? It's outside of the hands of the politicians. It's this independent commission drawing these maps every 10 years, not mid-decade like we're seeing now. Schwarzenegger is certainly not a fan of this move by Newsom, and he told the Houston Chronicle that gerrymandering isn't a battle between Democrats and Republicans. It's a battle between politicians and the people. Do Democrats risk proving his point by pursuing partisan maps in California?
I don't think so. It's a not surprising yet still disappointing response from Schwarzenegger, but really something that we've seen from so many of this older generation of leaders that just are missing this moment. We are not in 2010 right now. It comes across very out of touch. He's a 78-year-old, very rich celebrity who's not impacted by the threats of Trumpism. And I will say it's disappointing because of all the issues, of all the threats on democracy, particularly in California. To choose this to sort of play the I was the governor and I want to stand up on this issue card falls a little tone deaf when he didn't do that when Trump sent troops to invade Los Angeles. He's not doing it when Trump seizes 10% control of Intel, a California-based company. So I think, you have to ask, why this? Why now? And it seems to be about him and his legacy, and it just misses the moment completely.
Yeah, but to be clear, there are 5 Republican lawmakers who were freely elected by the people of California, who their seats may now be at risk. I mean, is this a betrayal to the spirit of what Californians voted for when they set this independent commission? And should Californian voters trust Newsom when he says that this is going to be temporary?
Well, it's in the hands of California voters. Unlike Texas, California voters will get to cast their votes in November and decide whether they want to take this path. I will say, though, major groups, for example, like Common Cause, which are dedicated to fighting against these sorts of gerrymandering efforts, have taken a different position in this moment because it is such a rare unprecedented moment where they're actually not even coming out against what Newsom's doing here because it's temporary, because it is responsive. So I think we have to take the moment for what it is. And of course, I'd rather we be in that situation where we respect our nonpartisan institutions. That's not the game Republicans are playing right now.
If we can circle back again to the governor's social media playbook here, I want to know, is there any other prospective 2028 candidate breaking into the attention economy like Newsom? And bottom line, is Newsom giving Democrats here a 2028 playbook for how to survive in Trump's digital sandbox? Or is he feeding into this very culture of spectacle that helped put Trump where he is in the first place?
Yeah, I think part of what works for Trump is that his base sees his sort of attacks on folks and these outrageous tweets as part of the end of what they want. They want that vitriol. I don't know that Democratic voters have that same appetite. So while there is sort of a novelty in what Newsom's doing, I don't think it's a strategy that can endure for him. And I do think, folks calling on, leaders like Hochul to do the same, it wouldn't ring as authentic. I don't think certain types of leaders, the more moderate, more sort of put together folks like that can pull it off in the same way. And so they have to find their own authentic path. I think what matters at the end of the day is who actually gets real points on the board, not who drives necessarily a short news cycle with some of these tactics, though it's been working for him for now.
I think the midterms and beyond will be very telling. Kaivan Shroff, thank you so much for your time.
Great to join.
Thanks. Well, still to come, new details on the first response.